What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is Stuber, and this one comes from 20th Century Fox slash Disney slash Mickey Mouse's corporation. I have no idea what it's even called anymore, but it comes from 20th Century Fox. This one stars Kumail Nanjiani as a Uber driver named Stu. He works at a sporting goods store during the day, and at night he tries to pick up some Uber shifts, and so he eventually runs into Dave Bautista's character, and he is a cop. He lost his partner at the beginning of the film. This is how it sets it up. He has a partner. They're tracking down this criminal played by Iko Uwais, and Iko stabs his partner. His partner dies, and so he has an obsession over it. He tries to track down this killer and this drug dealer, and so it kind of takes a toll on him. And he kind of neglects hanging out with his daughter, played by Natalie Morales. And he's just not all the way there. He gets LASIK surgery, and so from that point on, tracking down these people, he has to take an Uber ride because he can't drive after a LASIK procedure. So he eventually meets up with Stu, and they start their adventure. And they're tracking down this drug dealer, murderer, all that stuff. Just a typical buddy cop comedy, I guess. So the thing is with this movie is that I wasn't really expecting much because, to be quite honest with you, I didn't really care for the trailers. Even the Red Band trailer, I was like, looks like they're trying too hard with the comedy and the cursing. It's like, I'm no prude. I don't mind me some F-bomb filled movies, but if you're going to just do it gratuitously, it's not going to work for me. So that's what I was worried about. And so going into it, I had very low expectations. And walking out of it, it's fine. It's a little better than I expected, and especially in a couple of the jokes, some of the hardest I've laughed all year. But I think overall, it's an okay movie at best. It's one of those ones that you can go during matinee to see, or definitely just wait for it to hit iTunes or streaming. I actually think it's a perfect movie for that type of vehicle. So yeah, let's break this down. There's really not much to talk about. The story itself is very generic. It's stuff we've seen before. The mole inside of the police department, you can sense it coming from a mile away. Like, as soon as the person comes on screen, you're like, there's something fishy with them. It's probably them. It's the same thing with Men in Black International, which Kumail Nanjiani was also in. As soon as the person came up, you're like, all right, I already know who the mole is. And so the mystery is gone. It's not really fun on that regard. And so the story itself is it's just whatever. It's literally just a service vehicle. There's your first pun. A service vehicle for the comedy done by Bautista and Nanjiani. That's what this whole movie is just built around. If you do not have two lead characters that have good comedic timing and at least somewhat of a connection, your movie's going to fail. Luckily for this movie, that is the best part, is actually the relationship that Nanjiani has with Bautista. It is that fiery back and forth. Kumail is a very average-looking person. He probably doesn't work out. I'm talking about in this movie's universe. And you have Dave Bautista's character who's a police. He's tough, and he works out. And, of course, they're going to fight all the time. He's like, be a man. And you're just like, I am being a man. It's just, it's that typical banter. It's nothing like, it's going to be mind-blowing. And I also like the relationship between Dave Bautista and his daughter, played by Natalie Morales. She's always been great. She's always been a really great kind of character actor that pops up into stuff. And I'm like, I'd love to see more of her. And so the relationship between her and her dad, it's a sweet one. I mean, I think Bautista actually has chops to play like a parental figure. And so, just seeing like little glimpses like that, it gives me hope that, he's working on it and he's getting better in his own craft. And I really appreciate that. And of course, the relationship between him and Kumail, it is good. It's a good relationship that kind of ping pongs back and forth. And of course, Kumail comes from stand-up comedy. Of course, he does like shows like Silicon Valley and stuff where they rely heavily on improv. It's just, that's his world. That is what he's comfortable with. And Dave Bautista is, ex-WWE. It's just like, they come from two completely different worlds, but they fit inside this movie so comfortably to have those kind of comedic back and forths that I appreciate that. Definitely the best part. Everything else was fine. The action was a little worse than fine. When you have Iko Uwais in your film and you're gonna treat it like Mile 22 all over again, where whenever he's in a fight scene, like a hand-to-hand combat fight scene, you have shaky cinematography. Why? I get that you want to add energy to it. You want to inject that fun into it and, kind of shake it up a little bit and give that little rumble outside of the frame. But when you do it so much, it doesn't make sense, and it's incompetent. And if you're going to have Iko in your film, I want to see it. I want to see these, hand-to-hand combat sequences with Dave Bautista, which he has with twice in the movie, and you can barely tell what's going on half the time. It's like Dave has the physical capabilities to do these action set pieces. Iko is a trained fighter to do these things. Let them fight and let it sit on a frame that's longer than 2 seconds. So the fight scenes were a little disappointing, and the hand-to-hand combat sequences were just bad. Some of the things that were fine were the car chases, I guess. It did provide one of the funniest deaths I've seen all year with the propane tank. It was unexpected, and it made me chuckle very, very loud. I probably cackled like an animal in the theater. But besides that, all the kills they're graphic, they're brutal, and some of them are meant for comedic effect. At one point they're in the sporting goods store, so you can imagine what kind of items they throw at each other. Yeah, it's funny to an extent, but it's just like, excuse me, it gets boring after a while, and you're like, okay, I'm bored. And it's also, speaking of the graphic and the brutality, the R rating, once again, it's fine, but like they do push their limits a lot in their jokes. I'm like, that was not funny. Thank you for trying though. They push the limits with the F-bombs and the crude sexual gags and stuff, and it's just, I don't mind movies with those, but like, do it in a better way, I guess. Like, if you're talking to a person that loves films like Superbad, An American Pie, Animal House, Fast Times, it's like, I like me some crude stuff, but it's like, be a little better. I don't know what to say, but the comedy for me just didn't work most of the time. I gotta be quite honest with you. It was just more about seeing the relationship between him and Kumail. That a couple times, like, Kumail would like throw in some like improv jabs in there, and so would Dave. But for the most part, the comedy is a little flat. It plays more out like just a buddy cop like action thriller, I guess, more than a comedy, I think. Which in that regard, if you want to think of it as like an action thriller, it's fine. It's serviceable. From start to finish, I was never bored. It's a very tight, 90-minute movie, give or take a few minutes, and it gets in and gets out. It doesn't waste any time. It doesn't try to stretch it out to 2 hours long like some movies do. It's nice to just see an hour and a half movie and be done with it. So I think on that level, on an action thriller level, it's fine. Comedy level, not so much. I'm not going to say this movie didn't try, but it's just they tried so hard in so many areas. I just thought they just kind of floundered at the end of it. So, guys, it is what it is. If you like these type of movies where you want to see Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani like just say a bunch of F-bombs and have graphic violence happen all over the place, and this is your movie. For me, it's fine. It's okay. I think it's a better streaming movie, better rental movie. I like the relationships a lot in the movie, and to be quite frank with you, even though I'm not going to favorably grade this movie, I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel with all these people coming back, because I actually like their chemistry. But if you want to make a better movie, a Stuber sequel, then that's fine with me. But this one is just, it's... So, wasted talent from Iko Uwais. The villains in this movie are just whatever, man. Betty Gilpin, which I love from Glow. Why was she in this movie? She was there. She felt like she stumbled on the set and she was like, "Is this Glow season 3?" I just walked out with just a big old shrug on my shoulders. Now, is it an excruciating time to sit in the movies? No. I think it's actually slightly entertaining, and that's why I'm going to bump it up to the plus in my grade. But I'm not going to go anywhere beyond that. it's slightly entertaining. So I'm gonna give Stuber a C plus. And also, this is probably one of the biggest advertisements I've ever seen for Uber. People are gonna walk out of this, like, especially if they took rides to the theater, they're gonna be like, should probably call an Uber, and they're just like, Lyft is just shaking their fists in the air, and they're just like, dang you, Uber. Uh, that I can see that happening. Anyways, so Stuber gets a C plus for me. It's whatever, but I do see potential in not only in Batista's dramatic acting, but more comedies in general, because he actually is quite good. As good as he can be for his character, and then Kumail is always great. I'll watch anything with him in it. So C plus for Stuber, better than expected, but not by that much. So what did you guys think of Stuber? Please comment down below, and that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.